we saw this last night where people were just standing around watching this. Some people involved, others just there to kind of be spectators a little bit. And Chris, you mentioned last night we saw people just moving around place to place, popping up. It appears now that they realize they can go to the roads and they can move to the next spot and just keep it going. That's got to be difficult for law enforcement.
It is. It's different from things like the DNC, where there was some time to plan, and I think that there was a lot of intelligence information they could gather as to where the protesters were going and where the bad elements were and who the bad elements are. I think here, I have heard that police officers are recognizing local criminals.
Wow.
In the audience or in the crowd of spectators. So the bigger the crowd, the more they can blend in. They're not there to protest. They're there to commit mayhem and loot and commit criminal acts and violence.
We've seen masks. We've seen bandanas over faces. I had an officer say today, why don't they put something in place to make that illegal? And again, extraordinary event.
We've seen the city declare extraordinary events over things like the 4th of July and parades and other things downtown, sometimes even ball games. So why not declare an extraordinary event here and give the police the power to search backpacks? A lot of backpacks out there. There's nothing good being carried around in those backpacks. They just have another set of tools in the toolbox. Now the state of emergency may carry with it the same thing, basically.
Chris, you know what I keep thinking also? We see Bank of America Stadium in the corner of this live picture. There's been a lot of talk today about whether Sunday's home game will continue. At this point, in this part in the evening where we've seen what we've seen, what would be your recommendation?
Well, I think that's going to be a day-by-day decision. My recommendation, it's a day game. It's a 1 o'clock game. If it were a nighttime game, my recommendation would be different. But I think right now, you hold the game until, this could very well die down by tomorrow, by Saturday. I think these things have sort of a life cycle, and I think tonight's probably the peak of it. I may be totally wrong about that, but I think you're going to see the National Guard take full control with CMPD, with the Highway Patrol at midnight tonight. I think you're going to see them be more assertive, and I think they're going to send the message tonight.
It appears as we're watching this picture that more people are showing up instead of this crowd dispersing.
And now they're coming back towards our cameras. So it's clearly something. It looks like the officers are pushing them back towards our vantage point of our camera at this point. We saw some people going up the other side of the road.
Can we go back to Amy to see if there's an update on anything?
I still hear Amy coughing there.
Hi, I'm sorry.
Amy, what's going on now?
We're moving. Well, the police line has just moved up now to the side. Instead of being in the middle of 277, the police line just moved up to the ramp, actually, where we were standing. And so they're pushing everybody up. You could see a lot of people walking with the things over their face because there was a lot of the tear gas that went off up front. We even got in the middle of that. But now they have the police cars out in the middle. So basically what they're doing is clearing. Let's back up a little bit, Darnell, and get out of the way here more. What they're doing is clearing the highway. Essentially we were marching throughout Uptown, and then they took it out onto 277. And so the police are pushing the protesters and people off of the highway now, off of 277, and pushing them back up. So people, you want to show them over here, Darnell, what we're seeing? Everyone is up on the hills, on the side of the hills. Let's back up, Darnell. Let's see who's walking towards us. They're on the ramp here. They're on the other hill and the overpass going over 277, but they are no longer in the middle of the 277. As we showed you earlier, they had taken over the highway and in the median, and police put an end to that really quickly by forming the line out there, shooting out that tear gas and pushing everyone back. So we're standing on the side here, and that's what's going on right now. Is they essentially got everyone out of the highway, and everyone's just standing around. Like you mentioned, we were part of a march, a peaceful protest, and now once again we're back to standing around, yelling, and what's next is kind of where we've gotten to now, which is the first time I've felt this tonight versus protesting. So we're going to keep scooting back because things seem to be happening more rapidly tonight than they did last night. We had a little more of a heads up last night when it felt like something was going to escalate, whereas tonight it's just kind of happening. And I don't know, can't presume if police are moving it quicker than they did last night because it went on for so long and so many times. Now they're really just pushing that line all the way. Now you can see we're up on the hill a little bit. And you can see the police cars in the middle of 277, and then the police line cleared there on the side of the highway. And here they're moving again. So the police are now pushing up. We are up on a hill, so we are safe. We are up on the hill out of the middle of this. The police line is pushing now, so it went from...
Wow, look at that line of police officers
Darnell,
there.
so they can get a big perspective. Zoom out a little bit so they can see the big picture here. So it went from being in the middle of 277 to the side of 277, and now the police line is pushing everyone. I got you, Darnell, behind you, you're fine. Is pushing everyone up the ramp. So essentially they're being pushed back up the hills. If you've been around the stadium here, you know this ramp that goes off of Moorhead and the hills, the grassy hills that are beside it. Well, that's where everyone's walking and everyone's being pushed up. And there's some more tear gas. There's some more tear gas coming out. That's on the other hill across from us. I'm not feeling any right now on my side of the hill. So the police line, they are pushing everyone onto Moorhead now.
Okay.
So the... watch out here from this bush here.
Amy, can you hear?
The protest, yes.
It almost,
yes, I can.
It appears like the group they're not protesting. They're walking around, they're standing around, they're yelling things.
One second, Morgan, I'm sorry, we need to get our bearings here.
There's a couple of canisters of gas.
Okay, I'm sorry, go ahead, Morgan.
I'm just talking about what it feels like from the shot that we're seeing is that people are just sort of standing around enjoying the chaos. It doesn't feel like there's a message being sent. It doesn't feel like there's any protest happening. It also doesn't feel like there's necessarily any violence that we're seeing, but certainly not productive.